Let's start.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
It actually works out a little bit because Ye is in the news, breaking like as we went live here.
Oh, really?
New York Times, Good. Kanye West dropped by CAA makes Adidas and corporate partners squirm. So,
interesting.
Getting dropped by more official organizations.
Continues. So CAA, that is the I was thinking of CCA. What's CAA?
Creative Artists Agency.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that is what I was thinking of. I just got the acronym wrong, apparently. All right. Yeah, that's a big deal. Well, tell us, Gons, or am I telling you?
Well, the reason why I think this is all happening is because, Rolling Stone headline, Kanye West wants to build his own mini city called Yecosystem.
That's what the city is called? Or that's just like...
The city and the system. All of it.
Yeconomics.
Yeconomics.
It's like Reaganomics, only Yeconomics.
Yeah. Kanye West might have plans as ambitious as running for president. In the midst of all the chaos from West's past month, his team filed a slew of trademark applications that would allow West to create his own mini community, or as West intends to call it, the Yecosystem. So yeah, he does plan to call it that. West's plan for his own small quote-unquote universe has been in the works for years, two Yeezy sources confirmed to Rolling Stone. The sources describe it as a self-sustained enterprise that would have its own branded homes, retail stores that sell Yecosystem branded food items and beverages. The plan is serious, with arrangements to launch the first campus as early as next month, one source says. Eventually, West hopes to establish these mini communities across the country, the source says. So, yeah, this is in the theme of a lot of the technocratic elite.
Yeah, it's a smart city.
The game,
he wants to do a Ye-themed smart city.
Right, which is fascinating because...
A branded living experience.
It's completely like a staged competition. It's like the biggest reality show for these billionaires to build their fortresses, these like digital / physical fortresses.
Yeah,
kind of interesting.
We've seen a lot of this recently.
Yeah. So I made a quick list. I didn't put links to everything, but Akon. You heard about Akon? I think
we've talked about Akon. He's making the new Wakanda over there in Africa.
Yeah, he's got the smart city in Africa that's going to be all Akon coin and the whole deal. And so he's rebuilding or is building the real life Wakanda. Then there's Bill Gates, of course, Bill Gates and his 25,000 acre farmland in Arizona, part of his almost 250,000 acres that he owns in the US. And, he's been reported as wanting to create a smart city in Arizona.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to remember, especially with Bill Gates and some of these other guys, you got to remember this is an economic consideration for them. They're all sort of vying for the brand of society of the future. They all want to make their smart city and have it all branded, and you go there and of course there's no place to work except for the billionaire who owns everything around you. And, it's kind of, and there is precedent for this. There's more, I'm going to let you go on, but there's precedent for this in the sort of tycoon era of United States history. You know this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
It's during the sort of settling and industrialization of the West of the United States. It was corporations doing most of it. Mining corporations, steel corporation, railroad corporations, and they would own entire cities or towns or whatever. And you go there, you rent your lodgings from the corporation, you work for the corporation. A lot of times you don't get paid in actual money, you get paid in scrip. Company scrip. This is an old school American thing. So you go, you're down in the coal mines all day long. You come back up, and you're paid in company scrip, which allows you to go to the company store and pay your rent at your company lodgings and things like this. So no real money was ever really exchanged.
You mean you have to use their currency, whatever branded currency? Can they just brand it on you, right onto you?
Exactly. Almost like all these smart cities who want to have their own currency are just repeating the early American corporate tycoon oppression of the working man that we've seen over and over. And people are eating it up, baby.
I know. Well, you missed the last episode. We kind of went into the crypto situation with BitBoy Crypto's bill coming out against Sam Bankman-Fried's bill proposal. They're all trying to influence the direction of all of this. This is kind of interesting. I'll play it for you another time, but yeah, he gets really amped as people listening. got a little hint of, but so other sort of billionaire types doing stuff similar to what Kanye is doing here is obviously we just said Bill Gates, Elon, Starbase in Texas, but also I think, just his general sort of idea of how cities should look.
Sure.
And then Saudi princes building Neom.
Yes.
And Neom's interesting just biblically because if you go to a map, and for those of you watching, I'm showing Google Earth here, so don't get triggered. The Neom thing is set up, south of Israel, like on that peninsula. And it's right around where the historical Edom is. And, Edom is mentioned as one that slips through the fingers of the Antichrist as he conquers Israel and the surrounding areas. So just kind of an interesting thing there to think about in terms of future smart cities, just right in the heart of all the biblical stories there. And then more at home here. Who else do I have on this list? Mark Lore. Yeah. Do you know about Mark Lore?
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about him on the show, but if you're,
I was ready for you to say, I had dinner with him last week.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. We ran with the Bulls in Spain once, but he's got a limp in his left leg. He got it pretty bad that day. Yeah,
so he wants to build the smart city in the desert. Can it be sustainable? So he's diapers.com and jet.com founder. So
it's all these billionaires trying to do the smart city thing, which is something we've been talking about for many years now.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I believe on one of the episodes that I was gone, talked about the guy in Nevada who kind of started his own micronation.
Yes.
So there's precedent for this. It's not, all these people are more establishment types.
Yeah.
The guy in Nevada basically just gets ignored by the government. That's like best case scenario, and you just kind of do it for fun. But a little bit different situation. Nevada, as well as a number of other states, I believe Wyoming being one of them, back in the blockchain boom of 2017, 2018, they actually passed laws to allow sort of corporate cities to be built out in the desert there. So I see this as billionaires sort of testing the waters for who gets to be, who gets the statues built of them 100 years from now as the
on Mars.
The genius who came up with the style of, smart city society that everybody will be, just enjoying so much. But it's a wide open field, folks. We'll see who pulls ahead. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. It's almost an unspoken competition amongst the elite. Like you got to get into the billionaires club, and then you get the scroll from on high, like this is your duty. This is a competition amongst other billionaires, and you must, build it out. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, on just a more practical level, but at least it's something biblical. And we'll wrap this up here and move on. And it's a verse that I've talked about quite a bit, and it's from Daniel 11. It goes through the king of the south and the north. And when you go down towards the middle end here, verse 38, and in their place, this is most commentators say this is the Antichrist, the son of perdition. And in their place, he will honor a god of fortresses, a god his fathers did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. He will attack the strongest fortresses with the help of a foreign god, and will greatly honor those who acknowledge him, making them rulers over many and distributing the land for a price. So clearly he has land, and he's some kind of ultimate authority over that land and that ownership of the land and distribution. And so, when you look at these Bill Gates types and Ye and just all these people trying to create these little ecosystems.
Yeah.
It's very biblical. These fortresses, I would say, that's being talked about. You know, it's not just a physical building of some kind. It seems to be alluding to something in the cyberspace as well when we're talking about domains. But
yeah, well, that is the interesting thing. Not a ton of talk about the metaverse in these stories or these situations. It's almost though like building like they're planning on doing a physical analog to the metaverse idea. You know, right. You could almost think of the metaverse or vice versa, trying to replicate this idea of, isolated community, smart cities where there's no need to go in or out or whatever. Or maybe in the case of Yeconomics, where there's many of them throughout the country, you know, you can travel from one to the other. Maybe they'll have a cool hyperlink or something, or hypertube, whatever the bullet trains are called. And you get sort of like a chain feel to it, like a chain restaurant or a branding experience where you go to each one and you have the exact same experience and things available to you. It's really a fascinating and dystopian look into the future of how humans might be living in the not so distant future.
I'm rooting for Ye. And I hope he's one of the good guys. And you know, the Bible does talk about the 10 kings, and then an 11th one that comes in and wipes out 3 to take over the whole system. So maybe the 3 were like good or something. I don't know. Maybe that he's
or
one
something.
Of them. Yep. So there you go.